So, hello, my name is Derrick Wilson, and I'm excited to interview Dr. Barbara Bunville. Dr. Barbara Bunville is running for Alderperson of the 6th Ward. The election is on February 28, 2023. The 6th Ward is a historical ward. It basically runs from Cottage Grove on the east to Halstead on the west, 64th Street on the north, to 95th Street on the south. Today, we want the people of the 6th Ward to find out who Dr. Barbara Bunville is as a person, her childhood, and how she was raised, and the schools that she attended. We also want the voters of the 6th Ward to know why Dr. Bunville is qualified to be Alderperson of the 6th Ward. Then finally, Dr. Bunville will share with you her plans for improving the 6th Ward and bringing it to the next level. Dr. Barbara Bunville, what would you like to start off by asking the people of the 6th Ward?
I would like to ask the people of the 6th Ward to vote for me on February 28th, 2023. I need you to punch number 54 so I can be your next Alderperson.
All right. Yes, please get out and vote. It's very important. We need good leadership. And we're about to find out why we need to vote for this woman right here. All right, let's get into your childhood. It says that you were raised not by your mother, your grandmother, but by your great-grandmother. Can you tell us how that happened or why that happened?
Well, yes, I was raised by my great-grandmother, Matey Lipscomb. She was from Sugar Lot, Mississippi. The reason why I ended up in the care of my great-grandmother because my mom wanted to send us to foster care because I guess she wanted to do what she wanted to do. So my grandmother took my brother and I in at that point and raised us in Inglewood.
Okay, in Inglewood. All right.
That's in the 6th Ward.
The 6th Ward. All right. All right. And where did you go to elementary school?
I went to St. Martin Catholic Grammar School.
All right. And high school?
I went to St. Joseph. It's located in the back of the yards. But I did do a year at Dunbar Vocational High School.
Vocational. And all these took place in Inglewood or?
Well, no, I did not. Well, the Catholic school, yes. Grammar school, yes. High school, no.
Okay. Yeah. Now, you say you were raised by your grandmother, which is from Sugar Lot, Mississippi. One of the things about being raised by a older person, I would say, rather than our parents, I was raised by my grandmother. So how did this process prepare you for leadership?
Oh my, yes. Since my grandmother was from Mississippi, Sugar Lot, Mississippi, she was very stern about giving back and standing on your own 2 feet. And I can honestly say I did that when I had to pay high school tuition. I had to actually find a job and help pay for my high school tuition.
Wow. So in giving back, my understanding is that you started volunteering at the age of 10.
Yes, I did.
So you weren't out playing and all distracted by whatever was available that could be distractions. You were actually out volunteering and being in the community. Can you let us know what that was like at that early age?
Well, to keep myself and my brother out of trouble, we had to do, my grandmother, she's like, you have to do something. You just can't come here and just run the streets, as she would say, run the streets.
Oh.
And it was fine. I'm the type of person, I like structure. So at the church I went to, they had a youth program. And we would go to the kitchen of St. Martin and we would feed the homeless. I'm sorry, Friends Without Borders.
Okay.
And it started from there. And I enjoyed it because I was giving back and doing something. And then from there, we went to the senior buildings and we would go talk to the seniors, which I loved because my grandmother was older. So I was around a lot of, seniors. So it was fun.
Nice, nice. Now, you went to an elementary school that had a diversity program.
Yes.
When I grew up, same period of time, we did do things, we did more talking about diversity than actually doing anything that facilitated any type of diversity. But at your elementary school, you actually took part in diversity programs. So you actually got an experience to actually go out and gain some experience through that process of diversity. Can you kind of explain to us what that looked like and how that affected you as a person?
Well, coming from a neighborhood which was all African American, I did have the chance to go to Iowa and we did an exchange program. And it gave me the opportunity to know how other races lived and how they operated. I actually stayed with a family in Iowa and we talked and I didn't know that they put butter on their bread for a sandwich. I'm like, okay, where'd that come from? But that is their culture. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things. And the high school I went to was mixed. It was in the back of the yard. So it was Hispanics and Puerto Rican. So that was another eye opener.
Yes, yeah. Are there any unique dynamics? I know that when you engage with people as I got older, and started dealing with different cultures on a personal level, one of the things I found out is that they have similar interests as far as education, work opportunities, and some of those types of things. And I know this was an elementary school dynamic, but having that experience, did that open your eyes up to those dynamics sooner for you?
Yes, it did. And that was due to my great grandmother, because she told us, you're not the only, race in this world. So you have to learn how to get along with everyone.
Beautiful, beautiful. At this point, I just want to let everybody know that we do have a question and answer. So please feel free to post your questions. Also on Facebook, if you would like to ask some questions, just put that in the chat below. At this point, I'd like to get into your qualifications because being an alderperson does require some serious qualifications. And you have academic qualifications that are actually quite notable. So let's start with the qualifications as far as what is your bachelor's degree in?
In education. And in education? Yes.
Yes. How would that degree help you as alderperson of the 6th Ward?
That degree will help me, will allow me to teach or collaborate with CPS. Because since I've taught in CPS as well as charter schools. So I have an understanding of the educational process.
Okay. Now, we also know that you have 2 master's degrees. Please tell us why you decided to get not 1, but 2, and how each of them will help serve as alderperson of the 6th Ward.
Well, my first master's degree is in literacy, and I'm from Roosevelt University. And literacy is really big for everyone, not just children, adults, and seniors. It goes across the gamut. The reason why that is important, I used to teach in a GED program, and it broke my heart to see people older than I am that do not know how to read.
Mm,
And I was wondering, how in the world are they getting by in society?
mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's a passion of mine because we do have children, adults, and seniors cannot comprehend. And that is the biggest thing, comprehension.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely see that. If you're going out and trying to fill out an application, if you
Right.
don't know how to, fill out an application, you can't get a job. You can't, you're not going to be able to reach out for higher education. You won't be able to go on to, junior colleges or college universities or whatever. So, a very important quality to have, that your ability to be able to read. Now, your uh, doctorate's degree, like master's degree is tough to get, but you have a doctorate's degree also. Can you explain to us why you decided to get this doctorate's degree and what and how it will help you serve as alderperson of the Sixth Ward?
Okay. I do want to go back there just a little bit because I didn't tell you my other master's degree is in forensic
Oh, I'm sorry.
psychology.
Yes, yeah. I didn't catch that. Good catch. Yeah, bring that on. Let's hear about it. Yeah.
It's in forensic psychology, and I got the degree from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. So I am a therapist and I do crisis work. And today's society, there's a lot of mental health issues, even actually here in the Sixth Ward. And that is another passion of mine, is healing the mind
Mm,
of people.
yes. Yeah.
Now, my doctorate is in instruction of leadership. So I know how to lead. So I can write curriculum, I can write programs, I can write everything.
Okay. Nice. Nice. So leadership is very important. And I just saw a question come in from our audience that says, if you were elected, out of all your opponents, would you collaborate in solving issues in the Sixth Ward?
Oh,
Would you
yes.
reach out to, yeah.
Yes, I would collaborate with them because it's not just my ward, it's everyone's ward. And even if I didn't win, I would collaborate with them. Now, the question becomes, will they collaborate with me?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Right. All right. Let's move on to community service.
Yes.
Tell us about community service as an adult and even your community service with the famous sorority Delta Sigma Theta.
Well, now this is my passion. I've been doing this since I was 10. So the first thing, I personally adopted an orphanage in Jamaica. And I did a friend raiser. So I collected money and I took the supplies actually to Jamaica and gave it to the orphans. And while there, I taught reading and math, which was great. But my 26 years with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, it gave me the ability to work here stateside as well as internationally. I have led trips to Africa, Canada, and Bermuda, taking goods and services to the people there that was in need, and Canada.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. It's a wonderful experience to lend a helping hand to help somebody um, get to a better expression of who they are.
Yes.
Did you experience those types of emotions as far as building, let's say, relationships with those people that you helped?
Oh, yes. Yes. It's a very humbling experience to go to a third world country. Sometimes you don't have to go to a third world country. You can go around the block and to help somebody that's in need and do not need the recognition.
There you go.
That's
Yeah.
the humbling experience.
A true servant of the community.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Like to get into your experience now. And would you kind of enlighten us on your experience as a police officer and how long you've been in law enforcement?
I have been a police officer now for the last 23 years. And I started off here in the 6th Ward as a beat officer. So I walk the streets, I patrol the 6th Ward. So this is full circle for me.
Beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and ask you a question from someone from the Q&A.
Okay.
They would like to know how, now that we know that you have experience in law enforcement, this particular person is asking, how would you contribute to stopping crime in our area? Because they're in the 6th Ward. They want to know, this experience and how this is going to relate to stopping crime.
Now, stopping crime, that is it's a collaboration. It's a collaboration with myself, well, soon to be Alderperson if elected, when elected, with the police department, as well as clergy, to sit down and talk with everyone and how to, eradicate the crime. But you have to look back. We have to clean the ward. That's one possibility. Because when someone comes to the ward, they want something clean and fresh and look good. And you would not draw a lot of, riffraff, in a sense, to the ward. And mental health, getting mental health programs inside the ward, getting programs for the youth to get off the street. Because since CPS have taken some of the activities out of the schools, they don't have anything to do. They are very bright-minded children, but there's nothing to do.
Yes.
Teaching safety concerns, how to call the police. While now I work in the ATC room, Area Technology Center, and they have Ring cameras. I know they was getting them out last year, where you can actually go online. We can connect to you. You push a button, and if you see a crime, you don't have to worry about somebody coming to retaliate, because we will never come to your door.
Mm-hmm. So, very great solutions. Take someone who's going to be active and engaging and things of that nature. My understanding is that you were a patrol officer for a good portion of your career in the 6th Ward. How do you feel this experience will help you being Alderperson?
It would help me because when I worked on the street, I'm easy to talk to. And you tell me the problem, I try to solve the problem, working with the Chicago Police Department as well. And by working with them and us all working together, problems can be solved. But we have to do it as a collective group, because one person can't do it by themselves. That's impossible.
And that is true. Yes. So that would kind of reflect back to, I believe you said, your doctorate degree that deals with leadership, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Are there certain particular individuals within the community that you would like to collaborate to build that type of leadership to address these dynamics?
Oh, yes. The citizens. We can have a panel discussion. We can have a advisory board. We can get the youth involved, because they are important too. They're just little miniature adults. The clergy, the police, who else? IDOT, CTA, everybody needs to be at the table.
Beautiful. We're going to shift over to now your plans for the 6th Ward. I've heard you say that you have forget how you word it. It's like a 6-point.
Yes, 6-point plan.
Okay. All right. You can elaborate on that a little bit more as I kind of ask the questions here. We already touched on your plan to reduce crime.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you would like to add to that, or?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. We need economic development, bringing more businesses, addressing the housing vacancies, improving the streets, and of course, I said cleaning up the ward. Education, I will advocate to properly educate our children so they can be competitive in society. Advocate for community programs for the youth, adults, and seniors. And I said before, improving literacy. I will advocate for literacy programs for our ward. And lastly, mental health. I will advocate for mental health improvement programs for the ward.
So with mental health, we do find a lot of our homeless having mental health issues, as well as homelessness for our teenagers. Is there anything that you've thought about in regards to addressing homelessness and then the dynamics with teenagers becoming homeless also?
Now, I would collaborate with City Hall. They do have a program that's there for homelessness, because I know they have the Department of Aging as well. And then there are other programs inside the different boards or non-for-profits that I can collaborate with.
Nice. Part of our community that is definitely overlooked are our seniors. What are some of the things that you have in mind to kind of get them active and not overlooked and engaged in the community, because they are a valuable source for us, because they have a lot of wisdom that's just untapped, what are some of your ideas for that?
Now, seniors, I have a special place in my heart for them. And I know they took out the, I think it was Mathers. It used to be on 83rd Street. And that was it was a restaurant. It had a computer lab. And the seniors would go there. And I would go there when I was on patrol to go talk to them. So we need a center. We have a lot of abandoned buildings. We can find out how we can get these abandoned buildings and probably change them over to us like a center for the seniors. They like to go places. We can have a senior day. We can have all type of events for them. We can have safety programs. And this is stuff we can bring to the ward. They don't have to go anywhere, because some of them don't drive now. If we have to bring it to the senior citizen buildings, that's fine too. We have movie night, all type of stuff, all fun stuff. Because I'm just a big kid actually at heart.
Right. And then how about youth programs and adult programs?
Youth programs, yes, we need youth programs. Like I said before, community programs for the youth and adults, because we don't have them. We need a boys and girls club over here like they have on the west side. We are losing the experience. They're losing experienced children that could become artists, musicians, soccer players. Not everybody is not athletically inclined. Some people might be a writer or write poetry or sing a song. We have to wrap our arms around them and encourage them to do this, but they don't have it anymore. We need my literacy program. We need my literacy program, because I used to work in a literacy program in the South suburbs. They have one. I know how to run one. And that could be all year round, or it could just be in the summertime, and tutoring programs, because they took the libraries out to schools.
Yes. Mentioning schools, what is your plan for holding the Chicago Public Schools accountable for improving the educational level for the children of the Sixth Ward?
Now I will have to actually sit down and have a conversation and collaborate with CPS as well as some of the charter schools as well, because you have two entities that you have to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go and talk to the teachers. And this is where we come in with the literacy program, because if they cannot work they don't want to work on my terms or our terms, then we're changing around and we will work together.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not doing anything, that doesn't mean we can't do anything.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna take a question from the Q&A. I think it is a wonderful question because sometimes we can start something and not really have a plan to really push forward.
Mm-hmm.
So once in office, what would your first 90 days look like?
Ooh, I'm the president. Well, the first thing I would do is do a survey of what is important that needs to be done right now. And I would have a town hall meeting, because I need the voice of the community, because I don't know the ins and outs of like I'm not on every block, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I will get the voice of them. So then we'll make a checklist of, what's the first thing we need to do?
Yes.
Is it, doing a newspaper so everybody is on the same page? Is it, how do I need to bring in the what are those tickets called? The tickets, the parking tickets or zone parking for the different streets. Do I need to bring that inside the community? Or the stickers in your window? We don't have to go 10 miles away. You can just come right to the alderman's office and get it. It's like little things like that we can probably do right away. And clean up different places in the ward. I say clean up because I'm kind of OCD when it comes to that cleaning up thing.
If you see it, you've got to address it.
Right. Right.
So in your first 90 days, all the things that have been kind of on your mind as far as the environment that you've lived in, because you're connected to the community, you have a personal connection with your work as far as public servant with police and that dynamic. And I'm pretty sure a lot of these dynamics have been pressing you for quite some time. I'm going to take another question from the audience here as far as it relating to business and cleanliness and things of those natures. And when I came up, we would always say, man, there's a liquor store on every corner in the Black neighborhood. Like, this shouldn't be, right? So this question is, we have problems with unwanted business in the area, like a liquor store on the 87th Street, or how would you better our area with better business?
Well, yes, that is a problem in the Black neighborhoods. You see a lot of liquor stores. I don't want to see another liquor store. I don't want to see another dollar store. I want to see thriving businesses, things we like to go to, maybe a cafe or a sit-down restaurant. People can go on Sundays. We're missing things like that. We have some soul food places. Maybe we need the arts and crafts store. These are the things we're missing. We have a Starbucks that's way on 87th Street. And just little mom and pop businesses to bring the Sixth Ward up to a better standard of businesses. And you can walk to these different things. A sock store, I don't know, I like socks, but
right, yeah.
We need something like that, but a really nice one.
Yeah. I remember growing up, you could go get a job as a young person in regards to, say, let's say at the barbershop, you could sweep up the floor, or, local business, you could go in there and pick up trash and do some things to, for the youth in the neighborhood, creating jobs and things of that nature. I've driven through some of the areas in the Sixth Ward um, 15, 20 years ago. And then recently driven through some of those same areas. And there are, dilapidated buildings. There are businesses that have just had to go away. And it is heartbreaking because with those businesses gone, those opportunities for the youth and those types of dynamics are no longer available to them. And bringing better quality businesses and things of that nature that are more family friendly, more family oriented, and I believe would develop a dynamic of community, pride in the community, because like you said, when you're driving down the street and you got all this graffiti and dilapidated buildings, people awareness is at a, it's more towards crime at that point versus, what, I'm not going to let you, do this in my neighborhood. I'm going to call somebody and let them know that, hey, so-and-so just did, et cetera, et cetera. Is there any way, let's say someone does call to make sure they can do it in a way that's anonymous so that they don't get targeted by some of these criminal activity groups?
Oh, of course, of course. Whenever you call 911 and if the operator asks you your name, you do not have to give your name ever if you don't want to. Never, you don't have to do that. It's anonymous and it stays anonymous.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't realize there was, that kind of anonymity. And I think that is something that people need to be educated on because there is a fear factor that can go on by intimidation with some of those dynamics in our neighborhoods where a criminal element has taken root. So intimidation is a very strong tool that they use. And just being aware that we can do that and be citizens that care, that don't have to be in fear of some ramifications for doing so.
Right.
So thank you for educating. Yeah.
And that's why I talked about the cameras, the Ring cameras, and you can get permission, and the police department can actually, tap into it without, you have to get permission first. We just not tapping into her. Tapping into your Ring cameras, you get permission, and they'll tell you exactly what is needed. So that's another way of being anonymous.
Okay. Yeah. I know you touched a little bit on the literacy program. And I just want to reiterate this because it's such an important dynamic to me because my grandmother was a first grade teacher. She worked all the way until she retired as a school teacher. At the point that I did move into her home, I guess I would say I was illiterate. So she painstakingly made sure I knew how to read. And it opened up a whole world to me that would not have been accessible to me as a child not being able to read. And I will be eternally grateful for that opportunity that she knew I needed, and she made sure that I was capable of doing it. Can you kind of explain a little bit more maybe how a literacy program would work?
Oh, yes. And actually it's for the whole family. It's just not for the child.
Mm.
If it's rent in the summertime, it is Monday through Thursday. It'd be ran Monday through Thursday from like 9 o'clock to like 1 or 2. And we would it'd be student teachers, so we can actually collaborate with Chicago State. I would have to have a collaboration with Chicago State to bring their student teachers over, or to be teachers for the program. And it will run for 6 weeks, and they will learn different techniques of how to do comprehension. Mm-hmm. We would also send progress notes home to the parents. We would actually teach the parents how to do reading with their children, how important it is. And even if they're having a problem, we can help them as well. Because when I taught the GED program, I had a lot of 17, 18-year-olds, the ones that dropped out of school, then they had children, and we did a author. We did this about an author, and they had to actually find an author that they enjoyed and research the author, write about the author, some of his or her books, and they did a portfolio on it. So these are some of the things that will go on in the literacy program.
Nice. My next question is dear to me because my literacy allowed me to become a small business owner. I'm a barber by trade. And one of the things in starting a business is it can get kind of pricey, right? Yes. I did reach out to some programs like SBA, Small Business Administration, and things of that nature. Do you have any ideas about getting funding for starting new businesses in our neighborhood?
Now, one of the things I would do, because they do have it, the city does have programs, and I would make sure that the citizens of the 6th Ward knows about the program. So I will have like workshops, or they'll come to a place where we have different organizations there to learn about things. I would always communicate. There will be some type of communication of what's going on, because people sometimes do not know what's going on. I mean, if it's by email, mail, if it's no snail mail, but mail, word of mouth, you would know something is going on. And I would bring that information back to the 6th Ward.
Nice, nice. One of the participants is asking about your town hall meetings to address the concerns and needs of the residents in our ward. How often would you have these types of meetings?
That's what I said. The first 90 days, I will have an advisory board, and we would discuss how often they would need them. Because it would, be, I'm listening to you. You vote for me, I work for you. So if you need it twice a month, then we will make it happen.
Nice. Everybody loves to compare and contrast. So in comparison, how would your leadership differ from the present alderman?
Ooh, okay, compare and contrast this one.
Well,
I believe in communication. Communication is key to me. My office will be there, will be staffed. And I know you probably can't get to me personally, but you will get to one of my staff members, and a return phone call will be done. If you have a problem and you can't get it done, it's a 311 call. Call the office. We can make a log of all the 311 calls, because if you can't do it, I can say, look, I'm trying, we're working on it. And say there's progress we are trying to make. But communication is key.
Yes. I'd like to kind of go back to the mental health dynamic. It seems as though people are becoming more educated and more aware that mental health is definitely an issue that needs to be addressed. It seems as though there is more access because insurance is making funding available to get access to these things. What would you actively put in place to help improve the mental health of the residents of the 6th Ward?
Well, I personally, I'm a therapist, so this is dear to me. We can have free or sliding scale therapy sessions. I could do group therapy if someone does not, if someone wants to come as a group, because sometimes in groups it works better, because you can see that you're not alone in this situation. And if it's something really out of my scope, I can always point you to someone or to an organization that can help you. Like when I say the clergy come together, they should be a part of this dynamic in our community. We can have some of the clergy. You have a church, your church members come to you, can we on Sundays, or not Sundays, I'm sorry, can't do Sundays, like some day of the week, Monday or Tuesday, we can have a office there in your building.
Nice. All right. What actions will you change and or continue in serving our ward?
What actions will I change and continue?
Change or continue. Some things, there may be some good things that are actually going on that you would like to say, hey, yeah, these are great. Let's keep these going. And then what are some of the things you're like, hey, this ain't working. We need to actually address this and get rid of this ASAP.
Well, some of the things that I would change is garbage cans. We don't have any garbage cans. You can go up north and you see garbage cans. We don't have any here. Maybe they would throw the garbage in the garbage can. I don't know. And what I would keep, oh yes, another thing I would change is we need block clubs. We need more block clubs. There are still some, but we need them in our ward. We need big box stores like Target left. We need something like that. We don't need to drive 10,000 miles to go there. Some of the things I would keep. First of all, I would keep the way that the citizens embrace the ward. I'm really, really proud that they have this proud sense, like I am from Chatham, I'm from West Chesterfield, I'm from Park Manor, I'm from Chesterfield. They have a pride, and I do like that because it's been around for a minute, but it hasn't been taken care of. It's been neglected. So we need that to return, but also keep that also, but return back that proudness of the Sixth Ward.
All right. Let's see. Often, and this is, I think, is in every community, people have concerns, they state their concerns, and they just continue to go unresolved. And when structuring an environment that, can't please everybody. So, you just can't. But how would you filter out the most pressing concerns so that maybe by taking care of those, some of the other ones would be kind of resolved within those dynamics? So how would you address these unresolved issues so that we can kind of start to make progress in dealing with these dynamics that just kind of linger?
Now, my first 90 days. This is my first 90 days. I love that. Again, it comes back to what's the most important thing? What can we tackle first? Because if we tackle the big stuff, everything else will fall into place. So it could be vacant lots, for instance. If we have some abandoned lots, and if we can take some of these lots and turn them into gardens, now you have cleaned up the place. We have put a trade into someone's life, and now it's beautification to the ward. So it depends on what the situation is, but that's just an example of some of the things we can do.
Alderperson is a position of power, and oftentimes that power can be misused. Yes. Your understanding of an alderperson's power, as far as making changes and things of that nature, what does that look like for an alderperson?
Well, for me, I think how I can look at that, I don't like to compare and contrast.
Mhm.
But for me, I am a police officer and I have a lot of power. I have a power to take someone's life.
Mhm.
And I am humble enough to try to rectify the situation before it comes to that point. And I've been doing for 23 years. I'm sorry, I'm thinking about Delta. 23 years. And I have been in many different situations that I had to de-escalate a situation before it got to that point. So power is not in my makeup in that sense, not for me, because when there's power, people do misuse it. But I serve Papa, aka God, so I can't give that much power anyway. I can never have power like that.
Mhm. Let's see. Let's get one more question from our audience here. Let's see. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys, but let's see.
That's
I'm
okay.
a good one here. This one kind of personal. Uh,
Okay.
um, do you have children and are you married? Kind of personal.
No, I do not have a human child. No. I do have a godson. And no, I am not married.
All right. Um, with your family, you have, you know, wonderful relationships with brothers and sisters, and like you said, you have a godchild and things of that nature. And how about just general outside of that immediate circle? Um, I know you have a strong connection to the community. How do you view that family?
I view that family just as important as my family
Mhm.
because they get on my nerve too, my real family. So, but we still have to work together. I mean, by being the police officer and working the beat over here in the Sixth Ward, the citizens were my family. They the one told us what was going on. And we did get a lot of stuff resolved. So it's like we need them. I mean, they don't live in my house and but we need them. Everybody needs them.
All right. And I think that is a big thing because when I was growing up, you know, my parents, my grandparents would get a call, you know,
Yes.
before I got home. Or my church family would, kind of they wouldn't let me get away with sneaking out and hanging out in the back and doing so
Yes.
forth. So
Yes.
it is a very personal dynamic when you're connected to communities and things of that nature. And I think it's a good quality to have. Um, uh, One of the events that I attended, it was a phenomenal event. There was a lot of folks there, a very well attended event. Um, you sit on the board
Ah,
of the yes, yeah, you sit on a board
mhm.
of an institution that is a pillar of the community as far as bringing um, uh, a historical awareness to the African American culture and its impact here in America. Some of the things are shifting in that organization that you guys are helping to bring forth. Can you kind of talk about that organization and some of the things that you're doing to bring in this educational dynamic to the forefront?
I sit on the board for the DeSable Museum, the women's board for the DeSable Museum. As you know, that the DeSable Museum actually changed their name. It is educational, and they are bringing in a more educational aspect to the DeSable Museum, and which I really enjoy um, because it's not when you come there, that's a whole different type of experience. And that's a lot of rich history, of our culture.
Yes, beautiful. I want to thank all of our participants that came tonight to hear more about everything that you have planned for the 6th Ward. The residents of the 6th Ward will be greatly served by you as their alderperson. I want to thank you for that. And I'd like to give you a moment to address them, to let them know what they need to do for you, bring all these wonderful changes and dynamics to be expressed in the 6th Ward.
But first of all, I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule tonight and come and meet me. I'm truly heartfelt. Again, like I say, I am Dr. Barbara Bunville, and you know what? I need your vote. I am qualified, I have experience, I have the compassion, and I have a plan. The time is now for our ward to move forward. We have a very diverse community, so we have to take everyone into consideration. The people of the 6th Ward take pride in living here, and we all deserve to have a ward we can be proud of. I believe I am the person to move the 6th Ward to the next level. So on February 28th, please punch 54. And I thank you all.
And once again, we thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Share the word, spread the word, get out, let somebody know, because our community is important, our families are important, businesses are important, and we want to have Barbara Bunville lead the next push into 2023 as the 6th Ward Alderperson. Have a good night.
Good night.
Well, I don't know if anybody's hanging around or if they'll cut it off, but I do want to ask this question just for fun, kicks and giggles. Do you have any aspirations after you win the position of alderperson for the 6th Ward? I'm intrigued.
You're intrigued.
I'm intrigued. Aspirations after you bring the 6th Ward to the next level.
You know, that's a great question. And I haven't thought about it because I haven't thought about it.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
You never know.
Right. You never know. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, because I could always go bigger, better dynamics or whatever. The alderperson that used to be part of the ward, he's running for another office, isn't he?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So at this moment, undetermined.
Right.
Okay.
But, yeah, we're going to keep it like this right now.
President of the United States.
Exactly.
First lady. Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you,
Mhm.
Mr. Wilson.
Yep. Yep.
And I would say good night to everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.